So, why should we become Christians? It's a good question, but the answer is I don't know. Why should we follow anything? We've never witnessed Jesus' miracles. We've never seen Jesus. We've never seen a resurrection. We've never seen his resurrection. So why should we follow it? Why should we become Christians? Firstly, we should define what a Christian is, because at this point, there are too many divisions to actually explain what that actually is. I mean, there's Catholicism, Mormonism, New Age, so we should really discuss how to define that. It's really simple. It's a follower of Christ. But a lot of the time, people don't follow it correctly, and that's how divisions from Christianity come about. Because a follower of Christ means a physical or spiritual change, or mental for some. By this, we have to understand that the idea to become a Christian means a large change in lifestyle. But what I know about that is no one would turn to a lie and change. A lot of the time, people do fall for lies. I mean, there's like Islam, Catholicism, Mormonism, Hinduism. But even then, people still consider Christianity a lie. So, if no one is willing to turn to a lie, how can we turn Christianity true? Christianity can only be true by faith in the evidence given, because nothing can be fully true. Like, for example, people trying to debunk the theory of relativity, which we know that it is well known throughout all of physics, but has been attacked by other physicists. With an example, such as the theory of relativity, we know that not everyone is trying to debunk it and rather accepts it or does not care for it. This is the exact same issue with Christianity, but we always have to know it is always relative. Therefore, it just cannot not matter. So you can always choose whether or not Christianity is true because the evidence is always perception. If you've taken a psychology course, you know that perceiving is believing. So really, a lot of the time, it depends on how you take in the evidence. And as I mentioned earlier, nothing can be fully rejected because a theory is never fully wrong nor fully right. For all I know, Dawkins could be right about a spaghetti monster, and it does not matter to me because we all believe in something. And there are things that are fully wrong, but it depends on how you perceive it. Except the main goal is to not show confusion, but rather explain it. And obviously, if it has not disappeared, then look at the evidence. If you believe in the biblical timeline, then you should know that 6,000 years ago, the idea of the Messiah was given. 4,000 years ago, the same idea was given. 2,700 years ago, the covenant was superseded in a direct chain of events on how his death would mark our salvation and peace. Prophecy is a huge piece of evidence, and how we know that Jesus is who he said he is, that we need to understand that Jesus wants to give you peace, not an easier life. Because a lot of the time, we see a lot of temptation throughout the Old Testament and even the New Testament. So if Jesus really doesn't want to make your life any easier, but rather give you peace, then we know he's trying to do something good because it's a part of free will. Anyone who says they don't need Jesus has never experienced rock bottom. And if they hit rock bottom and he didn't accept Jesus, then we see different sides of the same coin. Living is one of the hardest things in the world, and not everyone lives the same one, but the acceptance of the hard life may make you rugged or make you at peace. But Jesus promises peace and hope. Although the idea of paradise was given by the Egyptians first, Jesus promises it with no repercussions, no consequence. While the Egyptians looked for right and wrong, while the Catholics asked for confession to a human father and no marriage, while Islam asks for your declaration of faith, part of your income, a trip to Mecca, and 5 prayers a day, Jesus said to turn to him and follow his steps into the glory of the Heavenly Father. Jesus never praised the Pharisee for his prayer, he praised the tax collector, who was considered garbage among the people. Jesus never stoned the adulteress, he gave her another chance. Jesus never condemned Paul after his bigotry, acts of persecution. He instead gave him a task to give back his sight, and then once that happened, Paul became one of the best preachers ever. I mean, that's what he really was. He went town to town. He would preach to everyone. He would even quote these poets. He was a very important person. Even in literary terms, you can see him as important. And what this exemplifies is God's love. God's love has been exemplified tremendously in the Bible, and the only issue surrounding it is only us. But we must remember that one thing: our imperfections can never be healed, but can be set near perfection in the grace of God. That is why we should become Christians. That while we know we are imperfect, we can be made near perfection by God. Although there are many more things to cover in the details, I must end the video here. So God bless you all. Look out for the next video. And one more thing, I'm going to keep working on that quality. So hopefully it goes well.